Hey there. So you're going to notice tonight that we all come out to walkout songs. And isn't that kind of like everybody's dream? Like whether you're 15 or 50, it's like, man, if I ever had a walkout song. I picked Pink Floyd. And before you go casting any judgments, I do not do drugs, at least not the hard ones. No, I'm just kidding. Drugs aren't my thing. But Pink Floyd was our thing, my dad and mine. Not so fun fact. Did you know that when you're on hospice, the last thing to go before you die is your hearing? There may be some of you in this room that already knew that not so fun fact. And if you do, I'm sorry. But the truth is, whether you've survived it or loved someone through it, none of us will leave this world unaffected by cancer. I know that I won't. I lost my dad to it in 2022. And he was the best. He and I had the most unique connection. We could tell a story and draw an audience, run a poker table of strangers in Las Vegas, own any dance floor we stepped out onto, and basically talk our way into or out of anything that we wanted. We were the best kind of duo, and everybody saw it. So when he died, I didn't just lose a parent. I lost my best friend. Cholangiocarcinoma. That is an 18-letter word for do not pass go, do not collect $200. It is rare, it is aggressive, and most of the time, by the time you find out you have it, you don't stand a chance against it. And I hate to spoil the end of this particular story, but we did not stand a chance against it. Which leads me to his diagnosis day. On October 14th, I made the hardest promise that I would ever keep. My family and I found ourselves in a small oncology room getting the results read of a biopsy result. And the doctor was explaining that if you compared my dad's routine cancer scan in April to his cancer scan in October, that there is not a doctor on the planet that would believe that that was the same body. In less than 6 months, a silent, undetectable cancer took over his entire body. I looked over at him. He was shifting around in his wheelchair, for one, because it was excruciating for him to sit upright at this point, and two, I knew my dad, and he was about to lose his shit on this doctor. So before he could lose said shit on this doctor, I stood up, grabbed the handles of the wheelchair, I apologized to the oncologist, and I told my family that I was taking him to get some air. So walking fast down that hospital hallway, I saw a little patch of sun at the end, so I just beelined it there. It ended up coming from an empty chemotherapy room. So I rolled him in, parked him in front of the sunlight, and we sat there and we let the sun warm our face for just a little bit. He broke the silence with, "Thanks for getting me out of there. I don't know what this thing is, but I don't think we can beat it." And I looked back at him and I said, "No, Dad, I don't think we can." And that's when he said this, "Pumpkin, if I'm really sick and this gets bad, I need you to promise me that you are going to be in charge of pain. I don't want to suffer. If I'm sick, Pumpkin, you're in charge of pain." I said, "I got you, Dad. I'll be in charge of pain." A couple minutes later, my family found us in the chemo room, and my mom recommended that she and my sister-in-law take my dad down to the car to get him settled while my brother and I checked out. So the little lady behind the window slides the glass open, and she says, "Have you chosen a home hospice company?" And I thought, wow, home hospice, okay, that seems fast, but sure. So my brother and I chose a home hospice company. And then we left. We got in the elevator. We were alone, but before I could step out, my brother swings his arm in front of me, and he says, "Kate, wait. Before we get out to the parking lot, I have to tell you something. When you took Dad out to get some air, Dr. Sloan told us that Dad doesn't have months or years to live. Dad has days. Maybe weeks." Now, those are big words for a little brother to say to his older sister. I don't know what happened. I think I blacked out because no less than 10 minutes ago, I just promised my dad that I was going to keep him out of pain. So we walked out to the parking lot, we got in the car, shut the door, and for that whole car ride home, my dad was the only person in the car that didn't know how quickly we would be saying goodbye. My childhood home was turned into a hospital within 2 days, and my family and I battled cancer alongside my dad for 2 weeks. on home hospice. And home hospice, it sounds comfortable, and it is to an extent. But what most people don't know about home hospice is that you get a nurse's care for 1 hour a day. And the rest of those 23 hours are on the family. And depending how intense your medical situation can be, those 23 hours can be absolutely devastating. I remember one particular morning, I was standing over my dad's resting body, and I was explaining to the hospice nurse what a terrible night we had. He was up all night, screaming in pain, calling out our names, trying to stand up, falling. It was awful. And she said, "We can do something. We can increase his morphine, but I have to warn you that when we increase the pain meds, this is going to expedite the entire process. He's going to go into a sleep-like state, he'll become non-responsive, and he'll likely pass within a couple days." Something came over me. Do it. I promised, no suffering. So she taught me what needed to happen. She said that over the next 3 hours, we were going to triple his pain meds. And those pain meds needed to be administered every 30 minutes. And she can stay for the first hour and teach us how to do it. But then she has to move on to the next family. And so someone's gonna have to take over for those last 2 hours to complete the process. Something came over me again. Teach me. I'll do it. He knew it was gonna be me. I'm in charge of pain. So she sat there with me for the first hour, taught me what to do. And for those last 2 hours, I sat bedside with my dad. I held his hand. And I kept my promise. 2 days later, he died on October 26th, surrounded by family, love, and music. And let me tell you, the Dark Side of the Moon album hits a lot harder on hospice than it does on drugs, or so I hear. But then he was gone, and the rest of the world just continues moving on. But there I was, holding this promise. Pumpkin, you're in charge of pain. And that's when I realized something. That promise didn't die with my dad, it just changed hands. What began as a directive for his care turned into his directive for the care of myself. Pumpkin, you're in charge of pain. And if I was in charge of my pain now, pain was gonna be power. So no matter how hard it was to get up every single day and try to live in a world that didn't have my dad in it, I got up, I looked myself in the mirror, and I said, Pumpkin, you're in charge of pain. So here's what I did first. I lost 130 pounds. That's a whole human, okay? No, but here's the kicker. I did it naturally. Because when you have hereditary cholangiocarcinoma pumping through your family, you get put on the no-fly list for the old GLP-1s. So homegirl did this the old-fashioned way. Oh yeah, that sucked. 0 out of 5-star rating. Do I recommend a calorie deficit for 3 years? But I did it. And when your body catches up, your mind catches up. And when your mind catches up, you start realizing you got a little self-worth. So then you start looking around at the other stuff, and you're like, what else needs to be addressed? So the next thing that I needed to look at was my career. I gave 10 years to a toxic organization with blind loyalty and got brave enough to look for a new home. I found that at Ryan Fire Protection, the best company in the world. I know my dad actually led me there, but that is a story for another day. But then you start looking at other stuff. What else is holding me back? And this is a story now that I did not plan on telling. But here we are. That was my relationship with alcohol. Truth time. I am your stereotypical party girl. Truly, in college, if you wanted to go out and get blackout drunk, I'm the girl you're calling. Like, you might die, we might go to jail, but you're gonna have a good time doing it. Like, you should see me bong a beer. It has been described as majestic. And I have carried that torch with honor well into adulthood. But here's the thing. I started blacking out more often. My bad nights came with riskier decisions. Anxiety stuck around. Regret stuck around a lot longer, and the truth became harder to ignore. Drinking in moderation, for me, was a delusion. A normal person that wants to go out and have a good night's like, yeah, I had 6 drinks, time to go home, I'm drunk. You give this girl 6 drinks, hold on to your butts. Because I'm already wondering where the next 6 drinks coming from. And where are the next 6 drinks coming from? You see, it starts off real cute, but then it usually ends up with me hurting or worrying people that I love. So in September of 2025, I went to my first AA meeting. Now, thank you. I am not your stereotypical alcoholic. I don't drink to mask emotions. I don't have an addiction problem. I don't hide vodka in my underwear drawer. I drink to get drunk and be the life of the party, just like my dad was, honestly. And I've been carrying my new sobriety pretty quietly. And when I say quietly, I mean I've been flat out lying about it. Truly. Like, if you're gonna go out with me, if we're gonna go to a bar, we're gonna go to a brunch, I'm showing up 30 minutes before you do. I'm gonna talk to the bartender, I'm gonna talk to the servers, and I'm gonna tell them to secretly serve me mocktails all night so that the people that I'm with don't know that I'm not drinking. I will walk around a party with a full cup, I'll lie about what's in it. Last month, I rode a mechanical bull dead ass sober. And for the most part, at a party, I am still the most outgoing person there because that is who I am naturally. And it's great because everybody just assumes that I'm intoxicated. But then at the end of the night, I get in my car, I drive home, and everybody's like, well, Kate's a real bag of fun. She's got a drinking and driving problem, but she wild, it's fine. But truly, it's like I would rather have this entire room believe that I got behind a wheel of a car, blackout drunk, and drove home than tell any of you that I was sober at a party and had fun. That's insane. I am hiding sobriety like an alcoholic hides drinking. What? It's nuts. So tonight, for the first time ever, I am saying this out loud. I am sober now. I do not drink anymore. And I am finally okay with it. I have been given all of these gifts, a lot of them from my dad, that don't require the enhancement of alcohol. The other day I was in the car with my mom, and she was telling me how proud of me that she was, like good moms do. And I said, God, I just wish that Dad could see all this stuff that I'm doing. And she said, oh, honey, we rarely get it all. If he was still here, you may not have done any of this. Maybe in him dying, that was his ultimate sacrifice for you to start living. And that's when I realized that the greatest and final gift that my dad ever gave me was grief. Because if you can harness grief and you can turn your pain into power, you can be unstoppable. And so tonight, Dad, this is for you. In true Pink Floyd manner. I wish you were here, but I will see you on the dark side of the moon. Cheers.